dual stream, so we're gonna only have the normal YouTube stream. Let me activate this. So, YouTube, is it working? Yeah. Start this thing now. Share. I need to share the link as always, yeah. Unavoidable. Don't we need to, brother? Let me copy this, copy. We paste this here, yeah. Shut up. I don't want to listen to you, aka myself. It's good. I know that the audio works, so there is no real point in testing it. Anyways, like, oh well. Are we 300% sure it works? Yeah, we are. Today, particularly, yes, we are. Plus, this. True. That. I am forgetting about something. Like, I know I should be trying to add some more things. The problem is I don't really remember. Not that I don't remember. I just don't have anything in mind, basically, for this. I only have one thing to say, and one thing that I do feel like I should say something about. Everything else has been like absent from my mind. So yeah. Also, that was like a sneak peek of or screen to excuse me, misclicked. We can do something because I want to have music while we are starting desktop audio. There we go. Not because I really feel like, oh wow, we have to have music, but rather because I feel like I encountered something that sounds great enough. The question is, unavoidably, like, these people, it's so weird when you actually realize that nowadays, since making covers is so easy, everybody can make a cover out of a song and copyright the cover of the song that they did, and unavoidably, like, as long as things are done well enough, there should be no real problem because of that. Like, doesn't constitute an issue that you have somebody playing the original song. But if you use the cover, that for some reason does become problematic in terms of, oh wow, you chose to use my cover? Now you have to pay me, or now you are bound to the copyright laws. But I don't know, it's like, does it really generate that much of an impact? I don't feel like it does. We we're going to learn. That's what's going to happen. We're going to find out actually how much of an important thing that is or not. Let me set things up. I had a message on my phone from earlier and I fucking never replied. I'm amazing. Yeah. And unavoidably wasn't that important, so it will remain unanswered until tomorrow. Now, let me get things. Explaining things in case you are captured. No, sorry. Song. Before we run out of time, listen to fucking Kino. Bear with me. You can listen to it? No, you can't. Full volume. Back my voice. This is Kino. And it finished. Wow. Nothing else. Good enough, good enough. Now I can finally. Okay. So, we have the song. Now comes the moment in which I mute the desktop audio. Not a problem. I mean, it's more like a test, really. Like, we're going to find out then what's going to happen now in terms of will this thing actually give me a copyright strike? It will be amazing. I don't think so. Anyways, what is it? They have a different category for those things. A copyright notice or something like that. Not directly, not a claim, but rather an infringement warning or something of that sort. Or there is an easier route with music and whatnot, and that is you get like attributions forcibly given to the proper author, and all the earnings, like quote unquote earnings, it's not like we're actually making any money here, but all the earnings go to the author of the video. Anyway, good morning. It has been so long since the last time I have been here. I have actually been thinking about it. When was the last time that we were here? Actually, like, as a proper time reference, we were here for the last time on May 12th? What? On Tuesday, yeah. On last Tuesday, basically. So, amazing. It has been only 3 days, supposedly. Unavoidably, okay. There was a huge problem with that. Internet has been dying lately for me, so today we're happy that it isn't lying. Welcome, CJ, on Twitch this time. Hope you're doing very good. But yeah, we are really starting, so not much to really catch up to so far. Simply saying, good morning. Very, I don't know, yeah, I was saying, very good to be back. I feel like it's. No, in reality, I feel like it has been quite a difficult week. It has that sensation of when time passes so strange. I feel like it has been like 3 weeks since the last time that I was properly here. Unavoidably it wasn't, but can happen sometimes. You fall into a wormhole and get transported through time and feel completely strange for some other reason or whatever, and you feel perpetually tired. No joke. I was making one, but no. Maybe it's a clever idea to consult with a professional. Let's say like that, yeah. I don't think I have the capacity to actually diagnose, but there is one that maybe you have heard enough about, depending on the circles which you frequent, a certain diagnosis of, oh wow, I am always exhausted because of this illness, disease, diagnosis. So maybe talk with others who, like, no, not with others, talk with a health professional who can help you in terms of, okay, let's get you checked up just in case. I don't think it's really that necessary to avoid it, but to avoid it, it's bad. I guess, yeah, if it was my case, I would feel strange if a random guy on the internet came to me and I told them I am feeling tired, and they directly told me, you are depressed, or maybe that's not the case. Maybe that's not the case. But I think what 99% of the population thinks when they listen to, wow, I am chronically tired. That concomitancy of the things very much comes with the terrain of depression. So maybe don't think so. I wouldn't say so. Like, yeah, I bet my money on it. I don't think so. But just in case, just to get that out of the way. And I don't know. Also, the whole fact of, and if it isn't which it might as well not be, you get to know how to actually address it. Like, I don't know, what's the common things nowadays? Vitamins, for example. Yeah. You just need to take a little bit of a vitamin supplement or something like that, or you just need to get some, I don't know, some sun exposure, something, whatever it is. But yeah, anyways, thank you for sharing. Sorry, sorry for overwhelming you. Excuse me. I I am into that. But yeah, just in case, it's always good to get stuff of that sort checked. I guess something along the lines of it's amazing to have the possibility of saying, it can happen. It's not something so strange. Like it can sometimes it can simply be the case, and I don't know. It will be worse. All that I can say is it will be worse when we all say, "Ah, wow, maybe it is." But you know what? We're not going to mention that. We're going to all act like it just exists. No, yeah, happens. It's I don't know something about. I don't think it has really too much with being an adult or being younger. It simply happens in terms of you encounter people around you and what's the I am going to cry. Internet got cut. What the fuck is going on? Fucking struggle. What the fuck? Why? What's happening? Why? Okay, I am still streaming on YouTube. Do you see that? What? It's amazing. Are we back? We are not back. What's going on? I have an idea. Let me end it here. Let me end it on on Twitch. YouTube didn't die. What the fuck is going on? Brother? What? YouTube is actually working, no? Like... Oh yeah, okay, yeah, it is working. What's going on? Why did Twitch die? What happened? What happened? What? I have an idea. Let me... Can happen. No clue. What happened, my brother? Why did it actually die on like... Maybe something about being a... Oh yeah. We're back. Wait a second. Why is this thing... hello? Do you want to... Give me a second. Why are we... Vido? Where is Vido, brother? Do you not register Vido as an existing application? Green skin. What the fuck? Gaso. Oh. It isn't working actually. And I don't know why. We are... we're back anyways. Point. No, we're not really back. I literally don't exist on screen for some reason. Like, why is Windows capturing not working? I have a tiny theory. Something broke in one of the newest updates of my beautiful friend OBS. Most probably. Yeah, I cannot get the Gaso to capture again. What's going on? Welcome back, I guess. You know what? We are going to... How do we actually get it to work? Like, it's not working in any of the scenes. I am actually losing it, man. I'm about to flip off. Remove selected source. Are you sure? Yeah. Now we are... game capture? Add existing video. And it doesn't work. Why does it not work? Okay, all that I can think out is probably something in one of the newest updates broke. Probably. Most certainly, because yeah, this thing isn't working at all. Why is it not working? How do we do this? How do we have an idea? Instead of game capture, what if I use window capture? Add existing. I already have this thing ready. What? I'm amazing. Here we are. Okay. 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 Okay, it's working. Okay, 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 okay. Okay, I found a way. I found when there is a desire, when there is a will, there is a way to find, or something like that. Okay, it's working. Had to hit very hard the buttons until it worked. Okay, now everything should be working. Amazing. What an application. What a system. What a something. Anyways, what was I saying? No clue. Something about, yeah. Good evening. No, I know what I was saying actually. The whole point of I realize in the conversation of I don't really feel like I should sometimes say how I feel. It's understandable that one doesn't want to do so because in the end you realize that doing so is quite dangerous. Like when you are around people who doesn't know you, the whole concept of you know what, I am chronically tired. You don't want to get weird looks on you. So absolutely understandable that people are unwilling to say anything. Absolutely understandable. It's no wonder actually. So yeah, that was the point basically. Quickly summed up. Now, will YouTube chain or something? Perhaps. Who knows? What if it crashes and like it was YouTube that for no given reason crashed. So what do we do about that? Nothing can happen. Amazing. Anyways, I was saying basically, besides that, yeah, it has been a very good handful of days. Also, sorry, welcome, Groncho. I hope you're doing very good, my brother. I wanted to say, I was thinking out, yeah, the whole aspect of it has been like 2 or 3 days since the last time that I have been here, and yeah, I don't really feel like that. I actually have an issue. Like, I feel like it has been, I don't know, I said like a week or so, probably even longer. Like internally, I don't even I. It is strange sometimes to actually read so much about so many things and so many aspects of the human experience and whatnot, and still not find anything that actually describes, at least with a more, with somewhat more accuracy, what one gets to experience. Like the human experiences in themselves shouldn't be so unique. We are not really having that many ultimately personalized experiences in this world. We have to share a lot of things basically. So it's strange to see then some things that do feel like what's actually the explanation for this? Why is this actually happening? And yeah, I wish I could actually explain why, but for some reason I feel like it has been so long since the last time that we were here. Not, it hasn't really been. It hasn't really been. This time around, it hasn't really been. I can accept it. Like after looking at it, it has been only 2 days, 3, counting this one, which doesn't count unavoidably because we're here. So it's good, all good. Point being, yeah, I don't know. It's good. It's good to simply be, and I. I guess I can also say I'm finally somewhat happy now that I know that we have. Excuse me. Excuse me, I was moving my hands and I clipped them into the mic. Excuse me. I was saying something about the whole aspect of getting to realize that we don't have any internet problems on my end, like, can happen. What do you want me to actually do about Twitch for some reason having problems? The platform itself, like, will it crash again? Perhaps. What do we do if it crashes again? Nothing. What can we do? What can we do actually about that? It can happen. So can be the case. Can just occur, I guess. But yeah. Now that there are no hindrances, it feels nice to finally be capable of doing all of this again. And yeah, the only issue, I was thinking about it. I don't really know what much to say in terms of many other things. I haven't lost in my own things. I have some, like, some stuff. No need to be so unspecific. I have some exams that I need to attend to soon enough, and I haven't fucking stressed over them, like, unavoidably. Just as any other university student who needs to pass grades and approve matters and whatnot, there is always that deal of intensity when you are trying to review all the knowledge that you have to accumulate. So it has been quite hard to, outside of that field of knowledge, get to think out many other things. So yeah, that's, to some other degree, that's also quite a huge reason as to why we have been missing Kira, is sadly. But I mean, unavoidably, the main one is still the random internet issues that have happened for the during the beginning of this week, basically, which had no explanation whatsoever. Like how they happened, as equally randomly as they happened, they equally randomly stopped happening. So whatever, such is existence, I guess. But yeah, besides all of that, it's good to be, and it's, I don't know, I guess it's always something interesting to have the possibility of being around and such. It's, time is something complicated, and in such occasions it's even more exacerbated. There is some sensation that, oh wow, it still doesn't feel entirely real sometimes, or not. Reality itself doesn't feel as solid when you encounter that. Ah, yeah. How much time passed? 2 days. What? I feel like it doesn't. It wasn't that little. I look back and I feel like it has been 2 weeks or so, when in reality it was so short. Like, today is barely Friday, no? Yeah, today is Friday still. I feel like I am on a Sunday or so for some reason. Can happen, I guess. But, anyways, point is, we're not here to just say that. Let me drink something. How much time have we actually been here? Counting the disconnection, the sudden disconnection. Let me drink water. We can check that on the YouTube. Yeah. Like half an hour. Okay. Understandable. Oh, yeah. So yeah, I guess we're good enough to actually begin with the conversation. The monologue. What the fuck is these things? Like, we still, I mean, unavoidably, meta commentary. You want something like a philosophy category, but at the same time, how many people do actually do anything like that in Twitch? Particularly, like, what a wonderful thing would it be to have something of this sort, unavoidably, but how many participants of this kind of content are out there advocating for it in this kind of way, with this kind of manners and such? Like, I think I have encountered like 5. Do you want a category for 5 people? Ah, but if you create a category, more people would be willing to participate, and more would have an interest and a desire to add to this whole pile of efforts and whatnot. Maybe. Point is, whatever we do here, we're going to continue doing it in yet another occasion of these dialogues, I guess. The easiest way to refer to them is dialogues. So yeah, today we have something that it's not really that complicated. Simply remained abandoned or unmentioned because the last time that I wanted to talk about it, internet decided to die. So it was magnificent. Uh, Trying to talk out something and seeing internet have a stroke. Uh, so now we're going to continue from there basically. Uh, I will need a little bit because I don't entirely remember the narration goes something along the lines of the whole perspective of the necessity to create problems, to encounter problems, to possess some sort of issue, some sort of troublesome thing that characterizes the life of ourselves, that gives some sort of sensation. Not, I wouldn't say meaning. I don't think that problems themselves carry meaning in any way. They are just something that we're capable of picking up. The meaning itself is given by the person or obtained or revealed or whatever, but you don't really get to have the meaning just be intrinsically implied in the existence of any problem. It's not really like that, the equation. The equation simply is that with problems comes the issue of, okay, whenever I have to have something troublesome exist in my own life, how much of a tendency then do I create towards the over-characterization and, more specifically, over the reality of how do I even understand what is the dramatisms and the inner drama that is my own existence in terms of can I truly feel like what I get to go through does possess any meaning, or are the what's the normal expression of nowadays, the whole I don't think exactly being a drama queen falls under that category, more along the lines of yeah, somebody simply over dramatic and way too willing to just make things look like they are much worse than what they truly are. Those people who are pessimistic, for example, or overly negative, nihilistic, and such, those kind of tendencies that one can pinpoint as bad for the sake of approaching their own existence, the desire in which the drama of our own life, of our own life, becomes embodied, pictured in a way in which it only can be understood as something bad. The problem, the first stop, I guess, is unavoidably is how do you even understand drama as something, my point being, as something that might as well possess some sort of usefulness? I feel like in the story of life of every single person, it is quite necessary to possess something that you can say gives some sort of sense, some sort of reason. And when you assume that any kind of drama might as well only represent something negative and might as well be demoralizing and constricting of the enjoyment that you get to experience once you are alive, so to speak, that all the things that you get to go through, all the things that you get to feel, all the things that you get to say you are capable of observing and such are characterized by this dramatic aura, and only then you can understand drama as that very negative aspect and nothing else. Interreductionism of such an essence as this bad characteristic, we are underappreciating, I guess, what is something that might as well embody quite a necessary aspect. This, yeah, you can say like this. Drama is not just present as a thing. The dramatisms and the inner emotions and the emotionality and all of those things are existent in life. The capacity to interpret them in a way in which we are not just demoralized by their existence, but rather finding something capable of moving the we don't really talk nowadays about the soul, but to some degree, that will be the simplest reduction that we can make about these concepts. To say, yeah, we're talking about the the force that moves what part of the human being, the soul, because in the end, the mind, no, based on so much development of the natural sciences and whatnot, the mind might as well be moved by more basic instincts and whatnot. So, what is the thing that moves the human, the soul, I guess, in this conscious sphere, and the will and such, and what is the thing that makes the will itself be functional, therefore. And in this case, the answer might as well be presented in the form of, yeah, anything that serves the purpose of a problem. Is, I say drama. I don't really provide any other term for the same idea. Life scripts, I think it's one of the most commonly used ones. Life scripts or narratives or viewpoints or perspectives. Out of those things, basically, I try to address the very same notion of how we get to quote-unquote confront, simply approach our own existence to... No. Yes and no. The issue is, in the existence of the drama, in the existence, you could very much say like this, the difference between what is the dramatism of life and what is something more self-centered, like the life script that one picks up, is the comparison of the drama is both present outside and inside. You can see it be given externally, like if my life is filled with responsibilities, the drama of being somebody who has to do so many things for others, or even if they are only responsibilities about myself, the drama of being somebody so overwhelmed or so loaded with these required tasks is manifested externally, but there is also the dramatism given or gained by the person once we get to talk about it from the inner experience of, and how do we actually think about the experience itself. That is what does correlate far more with those other notions of, yeah, you're talking about life script, therefore you're talking about how do you try to approach your own life, how do you try to think yourself in the grand sphere of things, how do you see, how are you willing to embody your own presence, your own existence, and all of those other things. In that whole formula, in that whole equation, basically, it is quite more efficient to be capable of saying, okay, yeah, when I have a drama, when I have something of this sort, it can be moving in any kind of direction. I don't, again, the emphasis is, I don't really think drama in itself is something only negative or positive. The issue is getting to understand how to even make it be anything not so polarly present, not so extremist in its influence, so to speak. Like, if I tell you that the conclusion that we will try to reach is to try to possess, therefore, some more drama in life, but if I say it just like that, in this very moment, the most basic interpretation is always, okay, then you have to make sure to create some kind of a scene to create chaos, to go out there and make things worse for others, or to pick up the role of the most important person ever existent in the world and embody that very same role yourself and such. No. The dissolution of the individuality of the person and the loss of values in terms of getting to properly say what we get to experience gets to be far more influential on us than what we are capable of revealing to others, gives the very essence of this dramatism and its very charged in terms of what gets to mobilize the person in almost all kinds of scenes. You don't really need to. The problem is, I'm trying to basically avoid the notion of comparisons, because in itself it's quite pointless to compare what I get to live compared to others. It's not at all the point. You don't get to have a more or less dramatic life compared to others. It is simply how one gets to approach the issue itself of, okay, can I feel like the things that I get to see and the things that I get to do possess any kind of meaning for me? If I exist in a world in which I don't really encounter my own presence in any way significant, if I exist in a in different sceneries in which all that I get to see is myself just playing the role of yet another background character which matters zero for the sake of anything else, then there is an absence of dramatisms in any manner. To be capable of possessing a drama of my own, to be capable of embodying, of gaining, of owning a way to recognize and to talk about what is. And that's why, to some degree, it has to do with the ways in which we get to see life. If I get to have a proper understanding about what is my inner drama, if I get to have a proper understanding about what is my situation, if I get to have a proper realization about the things that I want and such, the things that I say I am working towards, the things that I realize I have to solve, the things that I can finally identify have for me some sort of significance behind them, beyond just the mere appearance of their existence by itself, but rather the notion of my drama becomes to try to create something, my drama becomes to try to achieve something, my drama becomes to try to simply get this certain project to work out, for example. It's in that conception of dramas and such that we have found ourselves at present days quite absent of all of that. We don't really get to talk about it in any proper way anymore like this. It's, yeah, when I was thinking about this before, when I was simply trying to put together the whole idea and such, you get to realize nowadays what is most absent is the whole way of, okay, how do we actually get to structure the way in which I see myself, the way in which I get to picture what I'm trying to achieve and whatnot. And it is the proper word. I don't think it is exactly drama, but we cannot spend 20,000 hours from now on trying to find exactly which one pertains the best to this space and whatnot. In this case, we can just assume that drama does well enough so at fulfilling the empty space that so far doesn't really seem to be filled with any other term. The simple notion of drama gets to indicate somewhat, or at least give you a resemblance of what actually is the point here, what is actually the concept that we're trying to go after. Because in the end, going back to what I was saying, in the revision of things, in the conversations with others, it is that you also get to see. And sadly, sometimes when you talk with people, you realize you don't really have a plan. You don't really have any kind of thing going on for you. You don't really have any kind of thing that you're aiming towards. The reactionary life and such, the whole conversation that many times can be seen nowadays of, are you being a proactive person or simply a reactive person? Are you waiting for things to happen to you, or are you doing things out of your own will? for the sake of your own desires and whatnot. In the absence of the dramatisms of life, it is far more normal, far more recurrent to see that then what happens around us is simply nobody is truly willing to have in themselves any kind of aspiration towards anything. I exist within the confines of my own existence and nothing else, because there is no need to have any other thing be. I can ensure myself that I am happy, quote unquote, by simply dealing with what comes my way, and I reduce my own drama to the smallest conceivable thing of I am a person who has to survive until the very last of its days and nothing else. And I make it be the case so that I don't have to therefore think out any other thing that my own story has to hold within itself. I remember, for example, a quote that I heard. I don't know how recently. I was gonna say recently, but at this point I have no clue. When the whole notion of we should let the younger people dream and strive for so many great things and possess such big dreams that they will be willing to heal the entire world, to save and humanity in its entirety, to go for the stars and beyond and such. And it is even in those sorts of sayings that you can therefore very much identify the very same issue of, but what are we personally? If I don't really allow myself to have anything that I can say gets to matter to me, if I simply reduce my own existence to a far more basic one, to a far less enthusiastic one, to one in which I don't really play much of a role, I don't really do much of anything, I don't really get to matter, I don't really get to get things done, I don't really get to make things work, I just find myself existing for the sake of having to exist and nothing else. I don't really have to exist for the sake of achieving something. I don't really have to exist for the sake of accomplishing something. If I disown my internal story, if I say that it doesn't matter, and if I look at it with disdain, then it becomes, no matter what, not such an interesting question to say, to realize that, yeah, what should characterize our very existence is being, for one reason or another, being removed, even when it shouldn't be removed, being taken as something that plays no role, that has no influence in our life, even though unavoidably it does. The point is, there is a very basic expression of the story that we tell ourselves. Even that much plays much more of a role than simply saying, yeah, I just find myself being and nothing else. I just find myself having lived through life and that's it. Having to not worry about knowing that I didn't live. Like, I came to this world to fulfill the work, quote unquote, of having been and nothing else. The complacency that has been gained nowadays with saying, yeah, you know what? If I am not really going to worry that much about doing anything, then I can be satisfied that at the very least I got to exist, I got to be around others of significance. In the abandonment of that's why it's difficult. I also feel like to pinpoint exactly what I am trying to talk about when it comes to dramas and whatnot. I don't really have a sensation for it so clearly of, it is exactly this thing. It's so many aspects of the modern life that we get to have. It's so many ways to picture our current existence and such. It's so many facets that we have already said, yeah, you know what, it doesn't matter. This thing doesn't really possess an importance for me nowadays. This thing, even if I know that I should be doing something about it, I am going to act like it doesn't really play a role. I am going to act like it doesn't really need to be attended right now. I am going to look at it and make sure that if anybody else asks, I seem to be entirely fine with having nothing of my own to talk about when it comes to it. And I don't know, I feel like yes, the conclusion then, or not exactly the conclusion, so far, up to this point, then the notion becomes so drama in itself can therefore simply be explained as something that might as well be necessary. I don't think on order, therefore it is something negative. I am annoyed whenever I hear somebody say, yeah, this is so bad, this is so the dramas that exist in this current world and whatnot are so destructive and so destructive and so capable of bringing suffering and nothing else to this world. To some degree, it is also people trying to solve cancer are still in such a dramatic world of existence with such heavy weights on their shoulders. Do you think that's not dramatic? Do you think that's not important? Do you think that's not also something incredibly controversial to try to solve an issue that has existed for so long? Is less dramatic than any kind of other war that has been existent within humanity? For me, at least, they very much played a very similar role. If you put them in the scale, they get to equalize one another almost. They are very much similar and they are very much important, yes. The question of which one is necessary and which one isn't unavoidably is a completely different one, but they are still dramas, not because something is good, is not dramatic. To read, for example, trying to talk about something more specific to quote-unquote my field, to read anything similar to philosophy of the most significant authors is to immerse yourself in such a dramatic work, in such a descriptive and narrative story filled with so many tropes and with so many things to think out and such. And all of that is dramatism itself, is the very essence of bringing forward and trying to address at all the existence of these very same dramas. It's as much. That's why I wanted to present these things one next to the other one, because when I was saying the other day that problems in themselves carry an essence that might as well be unidentifiable, which is necessary for us, dramas are also quite necessary. Indeed, the dramatisms of existence are as equally useful and as equally significant. It's strange to see somebody say, no, yeah, I want to live a drama-free life. Sometimes we can incredibly easily forget what things mean beyond the context which we are capable of thinking about in the very moment in which we say them. Today, for example, what's the easiest thing to have in mind whenever these kind of conversations are had? The younger, the more adolescent minds and such, who say, no, yeah, you know what, I don't really want to have a kid, for example. All of those conversations fall under those very same categories. All of those places have those very same things to understand. It's not that I never want to have a kid, it's that right now I don't feel like I need to have one. Right now I am not ready to have one. Right now I am not willing to be responsible for the life of another person. But I forget that not others are capable of understanding exactly what I mean when I say it. And I forget also that there are other layers to it. Do I really want to never experience the greatness of getting to nurture and help other person properly bring themselves up? Helping the whole process of the existence of yet another existence itself in this world, and make sure that they get to maybe not go through the same things that I did. Do I truly never want to see something like that? No, it's insane to say that no human ever feels like that. It's absolutely absurd to reduce it to, yeah, today I'm not willing to have one, and that means that I will never change my mind. Therefore, we can equate this very same stance to, yeah, you know what? Dramas in for humans are the most useless thing. You know what is useless in itself? Any kind of drama that doesn't lead to anything, any kind of narrative of a story or of way to see things, of conversations, discussions, and everything else that doesn't really change any other aspect of our existence. Any moment in which I decide to give up on the proper conversation and just reduce it to, yeah, I am fighting against this person, I have to make sure that I get to satisfy my desire to win, and nothing else, that I get to trample them with my will to supremacy and overwhelmingness over their incapable existence, and to make sure that I can demonstrate my abilities and capacities against theirs, when I can finally just exist and confront others, and drama is only to be surrounded. No, the example that I gave was significant for a reason. Drama is also still the person who is incredibly willing to sacrifice their nights of sleep, their days, their hours of company with others for the sake of discovering something, of talking about a certain issue, of trying to go for a certain cure for something, of trying to finally achieve something that seems to matter to them in some way without hurting others. That is also drama, and in some way we have now made sure that from our very vocabulary, any kind of iteration of this very same notion is eliminated. You don't really get to talk about drama as something useful or necessary. You can only... When I was thinking about it, I already pictured, do you know what's the wonderfulness of saying drama? Anybody is going to come here and encounter, yeah, today we're going to talk about the last 5 news. That's the only representation that we get to have at current day of drama, of problems, of all of those things, of situations and whatnot. There is no more the more understandable, more grounded in reality description of my entire life is a drama in itself. All the things that I get to see can very much be also called dramatic. All of those other things that I get to work on, all of those other things that I get to have an influence on, also are dramatic. How come only the bad stuff is drama? How come only the negative aspects are drama? It's not really so much the case sometimes. It's strange to see it all reduced to these negative aspects and nothing else. It's the very same reason as to why, when I was trying to talk about problems the other day, I said, and you know what's beautiful? To realize that, yeah, in themselves, the problems that we get to possess do have an importance, do have a significance in our existence, do have some sort of usefulness. It's amazing to actually have something of that sort of be. Once again, to simply be reactive, to simply be respondent to what happens from the outside without ever getting to own anything of this sort from our very own actions, from our very own desires, without ever getting to work on anything, because we are willing to do so ourselves, is annoying, is incredibly frustrating. The whole... something that I wasn't entirely capable of understanding before, but you can finally, if you have a struggle with these notions, you can get a little bit more of a clearer picture of yourself when it comes down to why is it so difficult to sit alone in silence without doing anything, because there is nothing going on, because there is nothing to do. And now you want me to be willing to do something like that? I can slowly get better at doing this thing, get more capable of doing this action. But in itself, in its very first moments, in my very first encounter with these sensations, I am only going to feel disgusted by it. And once you get to transport this onto the life that we get to have, every single one of us, you also get to see, and you know what happens once you're deprived out of the possibility, told that you should, your life should not be dramatic, your life should be not at all given founded within the energy of some sort of a story, some sort of desire, some sort of interest, some sort of situation. Nothing of that sort should exist. Then you're just simply, in that very same way, being told, yeah, your existence should simply be what? Being alive until it ends? That's very much the core of the notion. If the good life that we get to quote unquote talk about, like in between 1,000 quotes, the thing that we talk about as a good life, we have so many semblances of a good life without actually getting to ever mention what truly constitutes it in the present day, that it is no wonder that when it comes down to this sort of conversations, what are we even talking about? A good life? Who said that we should be trying to strive for a good life nowadays? It's more of a... And also because once you get to properly analyze what constitutes this quote-unquote good life, you realize it's more of a hedonistic, selfish, and a meaningless existence. Yeah. In the present day, what should be our existence summed up to? Simply described, if you have to extract everything else from it, is satisfying desires and getting to survive until the very next day, so that you don't have to deal with the weight of having taken your own existence. That's what makes a good life nowadays, to not create problems, to satisfy the desires that you have and nothing else. What? How come we have developed ourselves in so many other ways, yet we are slowly but surely moving backwards when it comes to all of these other notions and concepts and such? It's surprising to see sometimes, to listen to others, to be around people who you see, who you realize, wow, and you know what? I don't really have a perfect for my life. I don't really... What I was trying to say before, the drama of the things that you want to do, the drama of the things that you are willing to work towards, once we get to strip away this very same notion from our life, we stop talking about process in general, because it is so dramatic to have to work for so many days, so many weeks, so many years to try to achieve something of any kind of sort of actual effort. Do you understand how dramatic it is to actually try to get a house for yourself nowadays? Do you understand how difficult it is to try to get a job, to try to get a proper degree in anything? All of those things are problematic, troublesome, and unavoidable, therefore dramatic. And if we get to reduce all things that are dramatic as bad, it is amazing to see how much we are slowly taking out of the equation the part of it that has to deal with our existence in a significant manner. It's amazing to actually listen to others say, no, yeah, you know what? You don't really have to wonder about these things. You don't really have to care about that. It's drama-free life. What are you talking about? What are you even saying? What do we even believe we are talking about when we say stuff of that sort? It's annoying to listen and to see so many reductionisms be made of these sort of things. And unavoidably, as always, but don't you have the advantage when you talk about these things from your perspective? Yes, to some degree, as always, as with any kind of argument that is being presented, the presenter of the argument gets to have some sort of advantage. Wow, welcome to Monologues 101. So yes, unavoidably, there are some things, as always. I tried to mention that before. It's it's good that we get to have some realization about that, because indeed, the essence is, if drama is necessary, does that mean that we have to lose our life on the drama of other people, on the drama that artificial drama that gets created for the sake of just entertaining? What's the common expression? Bread and circus, I think it is. Is it? Or yeah, bread and circus, bread and games, all of those things, all of those superficial aspects of life which don't really play any kind of role in our existence, all of those dramas which have no effect on the person. For example, to some degree, something that I also have an incredibly huge disgust against, the whole aspect of, yeah, you know what? Why are you not willing to consume media? Because so much of the media present out there nowadays is so meaningless, is for the sake of simply letting you have something that fills the emptiness that creates, to know that you have nothing in itself, something so ethereal that the moment in which it is gone, you have already forgotten about all of that. That's a sort of drama that has plagued our life. That's a sort of vagueness and absolutely insubstantialness that has materialized itself through so many other things that have happened, that we have gotten, I wouldn't say accustomed to, simply exhausted enough to say that they are fine. So much of the situations of the current human being reduced to, and you know what? We have one of the best, this is an incredibly difficult theory, but one of the best realizations of the mind, of consciousness, is that sometimes the weights that you have don't really belong only to yourself. Sometimes the weight of your pain comes from the existences of your ancestors. In more clear terms, you inherit some of the weight, some of the pain, some of the issues that those who brought you forward carried with them, as well as those that they also inherited from their predecessors. In any, the issue is, it feels fantastic because we got to at least admit that that happened with our parents. Now comes the wonderful time at which we are slowly realizing, and when I tell with other people, I also trigger, I also act based on these things, I also respond, and I also see other people being affected by all of that. I am also affecting others in that very same way, where the interconnectedness of our existences extends far beyond than just inside the family, inside that very basic structure of security and whatnot. Even sometimes, even the passing by strangers on the street are capable of leaving an everlasting impression on us. It doesn't matter exactly who it is sometimes for you to be affected by all of that. And because we have gained some degree of realization about this, the only response that we have been capable of gaining is, and you know what? It's so sad that this is happening. It's so bad that this is being the case. It's so negative that we are all being affected by such things and whatnot. Life also has within itself some other aspects to it, some other far more amazing things to it. The realization that you get to get rid of all of that, isn't that substantial? Isn't that necessary? But, you know how much of a drama it is to actually bring that forward? Do you know how much of a trouble it is to actually try to get rid of those weights from the past? So we are slowly being subdued by only the realization of the problem, only the realization of the issue. It's what would be a good analogy? Something along the lines of we have, as if we were little children, realized that the world is going to end 5 billion years from now. We don't really understand that there are many other things that need to happen before all of that. We've finally realized that, yeah, we're all being affected by those weights, but we don't really get to see. But what does the person get to do about all of those things themselves? You're being chained down? No. You are being just like anyone else, in one way or another, being affected. Yes, so real for that. But there are also other things that can be done to counteract that existence, to counteract those aspects of life. And all of that is also quite significant, is also quite necessary to take into account. And it's surprising to see how all of that nowadays gets talked out as only the most meaningless thing, only the most useless thing. The, the point circling it back to, and yeah, now drama is only seen as something bad. Drama is only seen as something that we have inherited from these previous generations, and it is the weight, the bane of our existences. It is pointless to have issues, to have troubles, to have any kind of discussion, to have any kind of conversation, to have any kind of thing of this sort, without even realizing what is the proper role of those things in themselves. Just the willingness to throw aboard any kind of thing that might be problematic in itself, because it is far easier to get rid of the thing that might cause some pain than to understand why sometimes it actually is necessary to have it exist, even if it is painful, actually. That sometimes, controversial enough conclusion, basically. Yeah, sometimes actually suffering can have some sort of meaning, some sort of significance, some sort of value. Is it required for life? Absolutely not. But is it avoidable in existence? Absolutely neither. So, what I can tell you is that I need to calm down. Yes. Give me a second. Let me drink some, let me drink some water. Thank you very much. Okay. Then, trying to go back to the point, and I don't know, yeah, I'm absolutely sure that it's in one way or another necessary, in one way or another actually meaningful. That drama doesn't represent only the badness of this world, that, oh no, yet another situation arising in the horizon, time to hide away in my cave of solitude until this new storm passes away and this new bunch of problems gets to be solved by others, gets to be ignored by the populace. No, sometimes it's actually meaningful. The problem was to believe that it never had any role, to actually leave it up to others to say, yeah, you know what? It's not necessary. Your life needs to be drama-free. Sometimes it's the best stories in themselves are some of the biggest dramas. The thing that you love the most is not the loss of the wideness of interpretations of the different things that we're talking about, of the cleverness and interconnectedness of different concepts to refer to multiple things is what strips away the possibility of clearly talking about these sort of things. Drama is even the most romantic of the story. Drama is even the most tragic, the most optimistic, the darkest, the worst of them. All of those things are dramas. Existence itself is a drama. It's to be alive is to be in the circle of dramas, to be connected, to be forced to participate in the dramas of others, and to also have to see it happen within oneself. The avoidance of drama is only the avoidance of any substantial kind of drama. There is no way in which existence itself cannot be without drama in any way. The only thing that gets done when we try to avoid it is to diminish any kind of substantiality that can lead to any kind of other result beyond the appeasement of, the intensity that are those more significant ones. And also the easiness of mind that comes with realizing that, but I am not participating in any of those other dramas that we hear out there are bad. So I am doing quite a good job being such an obedient person. Wow. And now your drama has become to be yet another cog in the machine. Welcome. But yeah, point is, and I don't know, I feel like I'm overly therefore. It is quite annoying whenever you realize that all of those things are unnecessarily absent. It's the avoidance of all of that that becomes so annoying. So, one of the things that I have been slowly trying to talk about lately is the whole aspect of the realization that comes with getting to finally see, I can actually do things myself. I am not so useless as I am being told out there. I am not so defenseless against the experiences that this world is going to throw at me and whatnot. I I can actually do something. I can actually work towards something. I can actually participate in things. I can actually try to make sure that something happens. And I can actually get to have stuff be the case and all of that. And I don't really need to just be confined. I can do something substantial. I can participate because I want to, not because I have to, or nothing else. Or even if I have, even if it is only happening because I have to, not because I truly want to, because I understand that I have to, compared to all of those which are not going to, not because I am forced for the sake of my own existence to do so. The culture of responsibility to act in certain places according to certain things and whatnot, not because life is at a risk, which leaves no other option but to do so. The false pretense of, yeah, you're free. What's the best example of the freedom of capitalism of, yeah, you're free to not have a job? Are we actually fucking free to not have a job? I am fucking going to starve if I don't have a job. What are you talking about? Do you truly want me to believe that I can sustain myself if I get no way of possessing any kind of income, no way of sustaining my existence? Do you truly think I can live? I can photosynthesize and exist out there as a fucking plant? Are you out of your fucking mind? But yeah, point is, and I don't feel like it's just useful to get to properly understand it. It's to some degree it's necessary, and I would pretty much even go as far as to say it's common actually. To, once again, I can admit I utilize drama for the sake of not possessing any other kind of more proper direction towards this notion. I don't think it is exactly the correct word for all of this. There are far more correct ways to address this. You have an understanding of what is the thing itself that gets to move us in our life. I can admit also that it is unavoidably not meaning. Drama in itself is not the meaning that gets to move you forward. I am not trying to just euphemize towards the notion of, yeah, drama is what gives you meaning in your existence. No, I don't think so. But the avoidance of any kind of encounter with reality is what does deprive you of meaning, of any substantiality itself, of any gain, of any thing of interest of your own, and such. And it is, once again, annoying to see it all be so recurrent, so normalized, so described as acceptable, so taken for granted even, when so much of what we have to go through nowadays still relies on possessing something, some sort of thing that matters, some sort of thing that lets us be happy, that lets us be content, that lets us, in one way or another, be satisfied. It's okay. Point was, anyways, what I was trying to say also, and it's so normal, anyways, to see it. I don't want to make the divisions of lower class and high class and whatnot, because in the end, nowadays, they are absolutely empty terms. Who the fuck is actually low class? Are we low class? We possess access to internet, we possess access to possibilities of this sort. Are we low class? Are we middle class? Aren't most of us nowadays anyways high class? High class are those who can afford a car every single year? Isn't that the hyper rich nowadays? What is the difference between a hyper rich and just a rich person then? And all of those conversations, it's these other kind of people, those who you can see get in one way or another to be quote unquote successful, gets to possess some sort of drama. That's the point. The issue is we can categorize them very easily into, yeah, they pertain to the higher class. And I don't think it has much to do with anything of that sort. That's to some degree, yeah, I guess I have to mention that. I'm not trying to allude to a notion of, yeah, we, the lower classes, get told that there is no point in dreaming, there is no point in hoping for anything, there is no point in wanting to rise ourselves in arms, brothers, and claim for ourselves what has always been ours, and finally grab the fire of existence, and get to carry our own torches towards tomorrow. No, I'm trying to say that there is something that gets to be present in those of that kind, that we who remain in the lower sphere, in the lower echelons of existence, don't really get to have in their hands. I don't really get to be satisfied until I can finally say, yeah, I am willing to go for all of that. You can also find it described as the willingness to ignore shame, the willingness to ignore the opinion of others and whatnot, the whole notion, for example, trying to place it more appropriately into any kind of concept. What gets talked about when you see, yeah, this person who is older isn't afraid of doing what they want. They don't care about doing the ridicule and ridiculization from others and whatnot. They only do what they are feeling like they should. Their life is the drama that they get to create without caring what the external viewers, observers, spectators get to say about it. All of those things is also what I am trying to allude to. I don't know. I don't think it only happens thanks to age. I don't think it. I mean, no. It's not that I don't think so. It obviously doesn't happen thanks to age. You can still see so many other people out there who doesn't really get to, no matter how old they are, to do what they truly wish. That's why I also don't really feel like it is fair entirely to try to categorize it in any of those other manners. Because it is absent because of other kind of motives, because other things fuel that to be absent. We don't really get to feel like it is necessary to do something that matters to us, that it is necessary to do something that might require so much effort, that it might be so troublesome to make sure happens, that it might be so annoying to bring forward, not because it is entirely useless, or because we are young people. It's somewhere else the answer for all of that. And it's bad when we're willing to take the reductionisms of, yeah, no, you know what? This only happens because of this handful of issues. Not really. Not at all, actually. But well, I don't know. The question is still, anyways, where does one even start? How do I even find something that makes sense for me to try to strive towards? If I need to have some sort of drama existent, if I need to have some sort of reasoning of weight of that sort to be, then how do I even begin towards the creation, towards the obtenance of all of that? How do I even make sure that it gets to be brought forward and whatnot? It's amazingly difficult. I, to some degree, whether the easiest explanation is still anyways, because sadly, the norm has been that, yeah, all of this doesn't matter, so to try to bring forward all of that is so much effort and so much asking, so much trial and error also. The wonderfulness of today will say this is what has some sort of importance, and tomorrow we're confronted with the realization that, and you know what happens when you actually find something that is important? That it is difficult to do it properly enough, that if you're trying to actually make sure that this happens, how do you even know if what you're doing is good or not? How do you even possess the awareness if the thing that you chose, if the throwback to what I started with, life scripts and whatnot. If I have to think out the things that I am willing to do, if I have to think out the things that I have to work on and such, how do I know that the story that I chose to go towards, the path that I have started to carve for myself, is truly the thing that I want? How do I know that 20 years from now I won't wake up and say, wow, I didn't really care for this thing. I only did it for the sake of doing something. I only did it because I realized that I had to work on something. I only did it because I had to create, to not sit still on my seat. It's the house is burning down, brothers. So what are we going to do? The first reaction is to sometimes throw whichever kind of liquid you have closest to yourself, and if you don't really realize what you have, you can very well throw just more oil to the fire and make it even worse, to make everything burn down even faster. That's the very kind of life essence of substance that matters to us gets to be eliminated, discarded, and exhausted even quicker because it's difficult always to talk about, yeah, and what matters to me? Do I even know what matters? I am going to do this very first thing that I'm not entirely willing to say matters. I don't really have the capacity to say it's entirely representative of something that does matter to me, but at least it isn't something that does not matter. So I am doing something that marginally, minimally, infinitesimally possesses an importance. Wow. And because of that, the problem then becomes, but what the fuck is next after that? What the fuck is next after I have to actually get somewhere? After I have to actually do something? And I don't know, that's the wonder of life. That's the wonder of being. And you will encounter today, I get to finally stop fucking hating talking about anything that is remotely related to the dramas of my own existence. Tomorrow I can finally say, okay, so if I am finally allowed to have it, in which way can I have it so that I don't feel bad for having it? If I already have heard enough times that it is horrible to participate in any kind of the things that we all socially refer as drama, then if I have to end a drama of my own, if I have to embody, to be an active participant in the dramatism, in the dramatic scenery that is life itself, out of my own will, how can I do it and find something that matters? And that is the life song itself. It's so vastly different. That's the issue. Do you want any kind of description? The thing that you know you like. That's the issue. What do you like? I cannot really tell you what you like. That's even more so. At least we have a individualism, at least got to bring forward the reality of, and you know what's worse? I do so much damage when I tell you, this is the thing that matters according to us. What? How the fuck can I tell you what matters? Nobody has the possibility of doing that. I can tell you what doesn't have any importance, but I cannot tell you what has to be the most important thing. But yeah, I don't know. I don't really think I have much more to really add to that. I guess let me drink some water just in case. I guess give me like a minute to think about it. Let me see what else. As always, there is endless more things to add to it, but the essential parts have probably been said, so we can be happy with that at least, can't we? I can add something from my own perspective, yeah. I Sometimes I eliminate myself way too much from what I am talking about. Even although I am an active participant in what I am saying in terms of unavoidably, I try to talk. I think it would be incredibly inappropriate, for example, like it's to some degree the universal male experience of it's incredibly stupid for me to talk about pregnancy because I cannot ever experience anything of that sort. Like, yeah, this has to be this kind of thing. But this kind of other universal human experiences and such, after having gotten to some degree, have something to deal with them, yeah, there are some other aspects that I can actually contribute. And, excuse me, but yeah, now up towards somewhat, it's not private really, it's just the reality of what I was saying before, simply getting to properly get to shed away that very same uselessness, previous understanding of, yeah, drama can only be something bad. Drama is only the thing that you see when you turn on TV and you watch the newest telenovela going on. It's far more than that. And yeah, it's wonderful to actually get to observe the drama of existence itself, the drama of lives of others, of seeing the complexity that is the human experience through the rest of the eyes of this world. So many other links and layers present there, and so many other things to try to think about, to try to have in mind. It's sad when the reduction becomes, once again, that it doesn't matter, because drama is only bad in itself. The bastardization of the word and the misuse of something that can be substantial enough for existence. It's actually quite good to have the possibility of getting to finally look at something, even if it is heavy, even if it is, yeah, even if it is heart-wrenching sometimes, it's actually useful to know about the drama, to know about all of those things. The very same thing of what I described before, of we cannot tell each other what is the right thing. We believe that we have the right to do so, but we are in no position to doing that. But at the least, what we can do is show the rest, demonstrate what are the bad aspects of life. It is thanks to that that even then the dramatisms of existence get to be generated more properly, more meaningfully towards the life of our own, so that we can finally do something and strive towards somewhere that does matter to us, you know? But yeah, I don't know. It's... No, sorry. The conclusion is that yeah, it's necessary to consume media. I... In my eyes, yeah, for example, I have been trying to always stay away from all of that, because it's so annoying to watch a slop, to realize all the meaninglessness that is already present out there nowadays, all the stuff that gets to play no role in our current life. I can watch so many of the Marvel movies and get nothing out of them. I can watch so many of the series going on TV that are being aired presently and get nothing out of that experience. That's also why drama gets to lose its meaning, because it's also substantial. It can also have some sort of influence, some sort of role, some sort of essence. And it's difficult to get to finally trust on all of that again after having been existent for so long and only having found these other ways of representation of it, of, yeah, drama is bad, drama is meaningless, drama is useless, drama is only negative. Wow. Now, to do the work of calming down and slowly getting to something that does matter to us, that does help us in any way. But I'm not trying to postulate that it is impossible. Just trying to say that yes, indeed it is annoying. But even if it is annoying, it's doable. It's so amazing. The world of pleasure, of satisfaction, of commodities, making it look like because you have to struggle a little bit, you are going to die, brother. Don't do it. Don't throw yourself to the waters because you will get wet. Wow. Don't live life because you are going to experience things that aren't going to be so great. Don't have anything going on because you are going to end up having your days feeling tired. Wow. But yeah, I guess that's it. I don't. No, for real. I guess I don't really have much more to add. Yes, I'm happy. I am satisfied with all of this. I wanted to do it this out before I actually forgot. I was starting to forget about it before, so yeah. Here we are. And there we go, basically. So yeah, no, I don't know really what's next. For today we're done. That's all that I know. But after this, what will happen tomorrow? I will try to be back. But until then, or with what? I have no clue. I have no clue. I guess we're going to see. And yeah. Anyways, for now, basically point is, as always, thanks for everything. Yeah, it was very good. Thanks for the time, the patience, the interest, the attention, the patience. Yeah, thank you for everything. As always, remember to take care. Remember to be happy. Remember to be willing to struggle. Remember to be responsible and all of that. And yeah, thank you for everything. And as always, take care. Until next time, and even if there is no next time, doesn't matter. It was good enough. So yeah, and also still remember to do your part. All of that still needs to happen, even if we don't get to see ourselves a next one. So yeah, thank you. And for now, bye bye.